Welcome to Barako BS, where I try to answer or deflect on your questions. So, what is Barako? It's one of the coffees from the Philippines that's known for its strong, bold taste, just like these questions and answers. Cheers, or tagay. But if you have any questions, send a voicemail to k@kabuay.com, or even better, send me a voicemail via IG or a video with your question. All right, so what's going on? It's event season. This Saturday, the 19th, I'll be at the Ube Fest at Concord, and these are all in California. Then the 26th, Little Mambabatok book launch at Malaya Botanicals in Alameda. Then Gongsters Paradise. You don't want to miss this. Ruby Ibarra is performing. San Francisco House of Gongs on the 3rd. Then May 10, Lumpia Fest in Newark, California. And then also coming up on the 14th, I'll be at Levi's. Yes, Levi's, the jeans, on the 14th at their plaza. Then I have a workshop on the 25th in Petaluma. Then May 31st to June 1, Pagdiriwang, Seattle. So more of these events are coming up. So I'm thinking about having a Batok apprentice workshop. Some have reached out. So if you're interested, contact me and I'll send you a link with more info. It'll probably happen in June. So let's get it started. First question. And by the way, these are all AI voices reading actual questions. A couple of them, sound a bit sultry in my opinion, but, I'd love to hear your real voices. So one of the things that I want to do here is create an avenue where people can get questions to these FAQs, because I may not be able to read through all the DMs or emails, but I'll sort through the ones that are existing. That's what I'm doing for now until I get some voicemails, and then I will answer them. All right.
What role does storytelling play in your artistic process, particularly regarding themes like identity and duality?
It's an interesting question. This is from an interview that hasn't come out yet. But I practice storytelling in two ways. One I like to call front loading and back loading. Front loading is the more typical way, you write a story or create art with a story behind it. Backloading would be of, like, say, for example, in tattooing, having existing patterns and arranging them to match someone's story. Over the few years, I've become more focused on becoming a better storyteller, in part due to publishing stories like Dasig or Apoy ni Lakapati. But growing up, I didn't really see myself as a storyteller. I would tell stories and lies and make up things, as a kid. But when I released Lupa during the pandemic, that's when I figured out, there's, some interest in, some of these stories. And, I got some compliments, and, that helped boost my ego and, I started to embrace and cultivate my story, telling skills. When my mom passed away, I made, the wake, slideshow, but it wasn't a slideshow. I made it into a short film. So that's my best work today. But I think that I think one of the reasons why I've been a good storyteller is because I have a lot of life experience, and so getting those experiences out and first of all remembering them. That's why I like to write things down or type things down in my notepad. And I try to put them together in some sort of interesting puzzle. Something that happened in 2002. Matching with something in 2016. So I think that's how I approach things. But I also like to approach things in the gray area, and that's where you find that, I guess, internal struggle.
What hurts more, regular tattooing or traditional?
So, well, the question regular tattooing, to me, hand tap is regular tattooing. So if you think about the needles in a machine, they're titanium. They are sharp. definitely sharper than the bone tools. So they hurt more, because the machine penetrates your skin, hundreds of times per second. It's so fast, you just don't see it. You have this droning, buzzing sound. For hand tap, the combs and even the pagi tools that we use, and thorns, they're not as sharp. The combs have like a bevel to it, so that it doesn't go deep into the skin. But I understand, people hear the tap, 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 and they think like, oh, they're hammering it into the skin. I don't like it when I hear people say they're hammering it into the skin. We're tapping it in.
What do you envision for the future of your art and advocacy for Filipino culture and writing systems?
So this is part of another interview. The future is death. You have to be okay with that, and that's a good driver. But when I physically die, I think that like future generations will find my work, online. They'll dissect it, contradict it, appropriate it, and build on it. In some ways, I'll still be around with my words, voice, face, thanks to technology. My digital clone out there. Maybe the clone will adapt and continue learning. That would be cool. My digital footprint is my legacy. And I always say, like, the fountain of youth is your legacy. And if you leave a legacy, you live forever. That was my closing line to my TEDx talk. Find that on YouTube. Type in my name, TEDx 2016. But I haven't said that in almost 10 years. Wow. All right. So that's it for these questions. If you'd like to submit one, email, send a voice message, text, DM, socials, you know where to find me. All right, I'll see y'all next week for KK Labs. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but it'll be interesting. All right, peace.